Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone doing today? My name is Juraj and welcome to another episode of Studio Talk with Driftmoon. In episode number 2, which is this one, we will be going over our track called The Sound, which was released a few days ago. It's part of our album Moonstruck Phase 2, more phases to come. And let's dive straight into the project. I will try showing you a few of the things I've done differently this time. And let me know how you like it. Let's go.
The sound. The sound. The sound. The sound.
I think we can end this right here. This is pretty much the full project, apart from intro and the outro. And there are a few things which we discussed with Mika about doing it differently. So I'm gonna start with kick and a bass, and I think we can cover it in the build-up. So for me, it was really important to find the right groove. I wanted the bass to be totally different. So in this particular instance, I'm using the Acid V from Arturia, which is rendered down as WAV file, so I can clearly see how loud each hit is. but the beauty is in the processing of it. Let me show you. So this is without the processing. It still sounds good, don't get me wrong, but we need to make it a little bit more groovy and prominent in the mix. So I'm using thermal from output, just adding that grit. Then we have the phenomenal soft tube VCA compressor. Then we have Basslane Pro from Tone Projects. I'm really good friends with them and I love their plugins, whether it's the Michelangelo EQ or Basslane or Kelvin. We're using the preset Bass Suspenseful. Suspenseful, yeah. And it's adding this one. You can always check what the plugin is doing when you press the Delta button. So we're adding a lot of stuff on the sides of the signal and in the center as well. Then we have a little trick from Soothe. Everyone is using Soothe to, you know, treat the high frequencies and the mid-range, but I actually really like, and I prefer it, to use it on the bass. It has got a beautiful sidechain function, so what I do, I route my kick into it, and then there is a preset called Melodic Bass Control. You push the preset, and you turn the sidechain on, and basically every time your kick hits, the Soothe is going to react to it and lower the bassline and treat the frequencies of the bassline region, so the kick and the bass are not fighting in the frequency spectrum. You can see it right here. Then we have the BX enhancer, just doing its thing, doing its magic. One sidechain, another sidechain. So you might ask, why am I using two sidechains? Usually I am using two sidechains because I like them to do their different thing. This is the main sidechain which is reacting to the kick and it's ducking the whole signal. And duck from DVS machines is basically just ducking the very first part of the quarter bar, just cutting away that so the kick has got that punch to it. And then we have Pro Q3, just tweaking it with the kick. You can hear that beautiful groove happening. On the kick itself, we almost have nothing. It was a really good sample I found somewhere. But we're using the Shaper Box, the kick denoiser. So basically it's a reverse sidechain. So, you know, normally the sidechain pumps to the kick. These will be pumping against the kick. So which means that the low frequencies, this is its curve. This is the curve for the mid frequencies, and this is the curve for the high frequencies. Just tinily adjusted so we can still hear the click. Without it, it sounds like this. And this is with it. You can hear a tiny difference, but overall in the mix, it makes a huge difference. Then we have an acid bass line from Acid V again. With a lot of processing. The difference is night and day. So we start with an EQ. Then some good old tape from Softtube, the bus processor from Softtube, just doing a little bit of saturation and compression. Then we have Kelvin, doing a lot of stuff. Fuse compressor from Minimal Audio, doing it's basically a multi-band compressor, but it's really good upward compression, and I like using it instead of OTT because OTT is used everywhere. So this is like my own idea of using, you know, multi-band compressor. But we have Roar from Ableton. Just the difference in saturation. Listen to it. You can hear the gritty attack on the acids, opening the cutoff with the resonance filter. Then we have Transit from Baby Audio. Transit is basically like Dada Life's plugin, and it does this. I prefer using Transit instead of Dada Live's, how is it called? Yeah, Endless Smile, because you can tweak each individual parameter individually. Chorus, filter, delay, you know, drag and drop, and you can tweak everything yourself. Usually it works, the presets, they work really well with the music, but sometimes, you know, the chorus might be too prominent or the filter doesn't really doesn't really work in your project, so you can always adjust it like this. It's very difficult to adjust it in the endless smile, almost impossible to do when something is bothering you. We have a little bit of the EQ because I only wanted us it to be in the mids. Again, plug-in alliance enhancer, a little bit of bass, a little bit of mids, a little bit of boost, and delay. The gorgeous Arturia delay. Yeah, pretty straightforward. The drums. There shouldn't be anything really that phenomenal going on in the drum section, but let me check. Yeah, we have toms, compression. Right, oh, the widener is missing, okay. The usual, yeah, we're using chorus on the right from Arturia, just to make it a little bit more wide. Yeah. LFO tool, just cutting away. This is really a neat trick, by the way. When you have a ride sample or a clap or a cymbal or whatever, something with really fast attack, but it's cutting through the mix a little bit too much, you can always use sidechain to duck that first part of the signal, just so it stays, you know, more in the signal itself and it doesn't really protrude that much. This is our hat section, just utility, open hat. We have one shaker on the left, one shaker on the right. And we have the rims in the middle. If you want to add some of the grit or noise into your percussion, but you don't want to distort the sample, and you're using Ableton, of course, it's really good to use something like erosion, which is adding noise only to particular frequency spectrum. So listen to this. You know, you find a frequency which works really well with the rest of the drums, and you have yourself a winner. Claps. Yeah, regular and a snappy one. I've basically cut away the beginning of the sound because I didn't want it to be you know, with a huge attack. We have some noise, yeah, we can go over the vocal. The vocal is actually rather nice.
The sound.
This is the processing on it. We have some delay and EQ, just boosting the highs. Yeah, this doesn't have to be there. We have the Saturn, we have the vocal double from E02, another Saturn, and delay. So without it,
The sound.
you know, we recorded it, sounds nice, but we want it to be extremely gritty, extremely noisy and prominent in the mix.
The sound.
Really nice trick, and this is a free plugin, by the way, is the vocal doubler from E02. It works really well. It's basically adding this.
The sound. The sound.
I use it a lot on voiceovers, just to make them wide enough to punch through the mix, you know, when you have like an orchestral composition or you need a voiceover to be more prominent, but you don't want to make it sound a little chorusy and phasey, so I use vocal doubler a lot. Saturn is a preset, modern synth. Yeah, it's rather easy, but the beauty starts in a breakdown, so we can go over it. So we have two plugs playing the main melody. We have the fairy plugs. I call them fairy plugs. Both of them should be serum. I really like using sines, so simple sine waves and plucky sounds and stuff like this, because you can tweak them so much in the mix. So the first preset, let me open Serum. Yeah, happy hardcore plug. A little bit of saturation. You know, the good thing about simple plugs like this, and we have a sine plug in almost all of our tracks, is you can tone shape them really well. Just listen. If you saturate this frequency without any of the harmonic distortion, it's still gonna sound good in a mix. Let me add it back. And the second preset. We're just opening the cutoff filter on it and boosting highs. And on the main processing chain, we start with an echo, 1/8, 1/4 note. Then we have auto panning. We were tweaking this. We want it to be a little bit glitchy, but eventually we realized that it doesn't really work that well. We have tape and bus saturator from Softube, my favorite combo on buses. Brainworks enhancer again. Some filtering going on, especially before the drop, just so we make space for the leads. We have Space in Your Face, which is one of the newest one from Dada Life. And that's basically an infinite reverb, but it sounds really good. Just listen to it. And then we filter it down. And a little bit of EQ. We double it with this lead. We're using Serum, but I wanted to use Arturia, either CS80 or something like that, but I couldn't really figure out which synth would be as prominent as I wanted to be, and Serum was already there when Mika sent the project over, so I was like, yeah, if it works, it works. There is no need to change everything about the project. That's the beauty of music, you know? You shouldn't overthink your production. Either it works or it doesn't. If it doesn't, just, you know, move and focus on something else, and maybe eventually later down the road you can come back and try to tweak it. But overthinking every single sound will just make you lose the time in a day and nothing will ever get done. So I just prefer, if it's simple and it works, I will just keep it there, no need to tweak it. Or I will tweak it when the track is finished and I'm thinking like, okay, this is good enough, let me tweak the sounds now so they sit better in the mix. Because if you just hyper focus on one particular sound, then you will lose the big picture. Yeah, they work really well, kind of symbiotic relationship. But when we go to the drop, which is this part, the beauty happens with the leads and the pluck. Let me turn the return channels down for you. So I wanted to create a syncopated groove between two leads. In this instance, we have the leads group, which is here, which is sound number 1, and then we have a pluck sound here, which is sound number 2. If you zoom in into the MIDI, you can see that they fill each other's empty spaces, basically. So if I just solo the diva and this sound, it creates the beautiful moving groove and all leads together. It doesn't really sound like that in a final track just because of the synth verb and pluck verb. So basically the pluck return channel is this one. Sidechain heavily, and we're using the BT's phenomenal Taze reverb, which is the go-to reverb when it comes to shimmering sounds like this. And the leads have a main reverb from Crystalline Baby Audio again. But they play together so beautifully. We're combining, I think it's 2 serums and a diva. Yep, so we're combining this particular sound. You might ask, why did I cut it so much in the EQ? Because I only wanted that particular frequency range because it was working really well with this serum patch. And then we combine it with the main diva. Look at the automation on the MIDI. So I'm basically cutting the volume away from the synth. With it, you lose the choppiness of the sound, which is what I really like there. So we're automating it. On processing, we have the Pro Q. Let me turn this off. We have the Pro Q3 again. We have tape, bus processor, of course, enhancer, and eternity delay, which is again Arturia. Quad chorus is a really nice preset, by the way. Then we have simple sidechain, intensity reverb from Arturia, which sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but this duck reverb preset is exactly the ducking of the reverb which I told you. So that works really well. Then we have a fuse compressor, again, doing some multiband upward compression. We have fuser, and we're basically sidechaining the leads to the plug, but not in a way of volume, but in a way of frequency. So we're sending the plug signal into the fuser, and we are adjusting the EQ where they meet, so fuser sends us, and fuser also rotates the phase for us, so they are more in phase with each other, and it works better in the overall mix. Then we have stutter edit, which is right here at the end, doing that little filtering. And Endless Smile, yeah, Endless Smile was working in this one. Gosh, I love Endless Smile, it's such a goofy plugin. And just EQ at the end, yeah, just EQ at the end. And same should go for plug, which is even simpler. And we're using the capitator for saturation, reverb, bus processor, Pro Q3, and the volume automation I told you about. Just done in a different way, so it works in conjunction with this one. We have the little accent from Serum, drum and bass. Simple lead. We're using it as a bass accent on each individual phrase. Altogether, 50 channels, not that bad. We have some choir with the pads. Yeah, this is interesting. So I decided to use the oxide tape from UAD with API for compression and saturation, RC20 of course on bass as always. Then we have the Brainworks enhancer, a little bit of EQ ducking the sound. This is sidechain number 1. We're only using one sidechain, okay, so one sidechain, Endless Smile again towards the end. This is a really nice Serum sound. It's basically an effect. And without any processing, it sounds like this. And then with the processing, the panning is beautiful, you can hear it left and right. When we go to the groove of the track, sometimes the percussion can either be a main element of the groove or secondary element. In this instance, it's primary element in the build-up, but secondary element in the drop, when we have the leads and the plugs with their own groove working together with the bass. So let me just solo the bass and the plugs. And now we at the tom. So you can hear that they are accentuating the hits of the leads. So it makes it a lot more groovy when you add the kick in as well. In the breakdown we have some orchestral drums just playing around with the plugs. It's basically just simplified Kashmir orchestral drum sound, so you can find it on Splice. Oh yeah, we also have claps on beats. You know, just to make it more club friendly, if you are a DJ and you're playing this in the club, there comes the breakdown and you can react with the crowd. So it's a little bit more groovy track. We usually try to stick more to the melodic side of dance music, but this time we thought that it might be a good idea to spice things up a little bit. So I really hope you like the video. Let me know in the comments what you think about it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.